Good morning, all of you. So, in the previous class, we were discussing about the applications of the Ampere's law. So, in that, we discussed about magnetic field due to this, cavities inside the cavities, right? And so now, in the cavities, in the last class, we discussed one of the problem there, right? At points A and B, and like that cavity problems, you can also solve by using by in the gravitation and in moment of inertia. In first year we discussed some problems like if you are finding the gravitational force due to this object like this. So here if a sphere is there with the cavity and then here a point mass is there here, right? Now we calculated, if suppose you are calculating force acting on this mass like this due to this remaining sphere with the cavity. Then in such a problems also, whatever general method there we followed, there is the magnetic field, this is gravitational force due to the original object. So original object means without cavity minus this gravitational force due to this cavity, that means due to this removed part. Due to this removed part, whatever the gravitational force is there, we find like that and we remove that. So that is a subtraction there. And then in the cavity problems also you can approach like that. That means now if you are taking a cylindrical cavity here, cylindrical cavity is there here like this, and if you are finding the magnetic field at some point there, like suppose if you are finding the magnetic field at this point, then you can calculate it as in the last class what we discussed. That procedure is, imagine this as a solid cylinder without cavity having some current density, and instead of cavity we are taking current density in opposite direction, right? So that when you are superposing them, then net current in that region will become zero, so that will behave like a cavity. That is the approach what we discussed in that previous class. Now I am saying that you can also solve like this by using this procedure which we already solved in gravitation and in moment of inertia. In moment of inertia calculations also we did some problems like this. If you want to find moment of inertia of such an object with cavity, the original moment of inertia minus moment of inertia of this removed part we calculate there, right? And so that similarly here we can also approach by that method also. Both are same only, finally that result will be same. Initial assumption will be different, that is only the thing here. That means if you are finding like this, if suppose it is having some current density J inside for example, then what we can write is the magnetic field due to this original object minus magnetic field due to this removed part. Magnetic field due to this removed part. And so that means whatever the magnetic field due to this part will be there at this position, then that part we need to remove here. That means that part we need to subtract here. So then in the previous, what we discussed there is in the previous class. Now this is directly you need to substitute magnitudes here. We need to substitute just the magnitude of magnetic field due to this original and a magnitude of original magnetic field due to this removed part here, if they are in same direction like that. And if suppose if for such a points especially, and if suppose the magnetic field, the previous approach what we discussed there is the magnetic field due to this solid cylinder plus magnetic field due to this cavity. This is a vector addition, initially we discussed there, but while substituting these values here also you will get the negative sign here, right? Because the magnetic field due to this cavity will be opposite in direction to that of magnetic field produced by this original sphere. So that means in this approach we consider the solid cylinder is having suppose a current density J. Now instead of this cavity, now we consider this as another object having this current density J out of the plane here. So that means we consider this combination as like this. This is originally this is without cavity, we assume like this, solid conductor having some current density, and this one is instead of this cavity we assume another cylinder and it is having some current density opposite to the original cylinder, so that we combine them. So as the current densities are opposite each other, the magnetic field will be opposite each other, and so that after this step you will get the negative sign there when you are substituting this magnitude here. So both the approaches are same only. The initial assumptions will be different there. Initial assumption means initially here we assume this solid cylinder here having this current density J, and then we write the magnetic field due to the solid cylinder at this point, and then we write the magnetic field due to this. So in this assumption, initially if you are taking this negative sign, then this assumption while writing this term, you need to take the current density in the same direction here. If that cavity is there, if that means this solid material is there and current is flowing through them, then how much magnetic field it would produce at this point. So as that part is not there, we are subtracting that part here, which is same as that of our problems which we solved in gravitation and in moment of inertia calculations in our first year, right? So either approach you can follow here, either like this you can solve or like this also you can solve. I hope all of you understood this procedure, how to find magnetic field due to these cavities. So based on this, I will give two sums here and solve those problems. So that means now here this is a cylindrical, long cylindrical container, the conductor. I am taking this cross section view here, and so that here two spherical cavities are there for this. Say this is one spherical cavity and this is another spherical cavity here. And so now this is one point I am taking here and another point I am taking like this. So this is, say I am taking this as P1 and I am taking this as P2. So this is cavity 1, that means it is having its center say C1 and this is say C2 and this is the C, center of this original sphere. And now let us say if current density in that is I is the current flowing in that remaining conductor. I is the current flowing in the remaining conductor, right? And so now find the magnetic field at this point and magnetic field at this point. That is our question here. So try to solve this question. And here you need to think about the directions also, the direction of magnetic field, because here two cavities are there. So this cavity will produce a magnetic field in one direction and this cavity will produce a magnetic field in other direction. So you need to find this, or I will explain how to find this for the point 1. So let us say point P, then you try for this point P2 there, because here the field directions will changes here, the field due to this original sphere and field due to these cavities. And so now for external point, as we discussed in the previous classes, like by the method which we are writing, like magnetic field due to solid cylinder plus magnetic field due to this cavity. Now I am saying that by our first year method, like force due to sphere minus force due to removed part. So that method now I will try to explain this. I will explain for this problem here. Either of this method you can follow. There is no problem. As I said, the initially in the first step in one method we write the plus sign and we put the vectors from bar, and in the second method initially only we are taking the negative sign and we are taking that magnitudes there. That is only the difference there, right? And so now here the magnetic field due to this that means now the magnetic field at this point we are writing here. So current density is current is out of the plane. So you may mention this problem here. A long cylindrical conductor is having two long cylindrical cavities, parallel to its axis, as shown in figure, If I is the current flowing in the conductor out of the plane, find the magnetic field at the points P1 and P2, as shown in figure. So that means that distance of P1 and P2 is R here, that is R, either from the center, either for P1 or P2, the both are the distance are from the center, right? And so now first I will explain how to solve this P1 here. So first we are assuming like there is no cavity and whole conductor is there, whole solid conductor is there. Now let us write the magnetic field there. So that means now I am writing this, as I said, I am writing this equation as the magnetic field at point P1 is equal to the magnetic field due to this solid or original conductor before making this original minus magnetic field due to this cavity 1 minus magnetic field due to this cavity 2. That means that cavity is in the sense removed part. That removed part we are taking, and so then we are as we are removing that, we are subtracting magnetic field due to that in this procedure, in this assumption. As if you are taking our previous class, what we discussed in that approach, then we assume the solid conductor, and in this cylinder you have to assume that current is flowing in opposite direction, that means into the plane. Then we need to add those terms vectorically, and finally while substituting this magnitude, again you will get the negative sign in that also, right? So that means either of that approach we can follow, and as we discussed that method in the previous class, now I am taking this method and I am going to explain here. So if you are following that method easy, you can follow that procedure, and if you are feeling this procedure is easy, you can follow this procedure. Finally both the results are same. And so now magnetic field due to this original sphere at this point I am writing here, and before that what we need to write is the current in these two cavities, how much current that would flow we need to calculate here. So that means now this current, suppose I am taking this as I1 here, the current at this position, and let us take this as I2, right? And so now that first of all, to find this I1 and I2 values, you need to calculate this current density here. So current density let us calculate there, so that I can write this as J is equal to I by pi r square minus pi r square by 4 minus pi r square by 4. Is it clear? Current density. This current I is flowing only in this area. The total area is pi r square, where r is the radius, capital R is the radius of this conductor, cylindrical conductor. So pi r square minus pi r square by 4, this cavity, and area of this cavity we need to subtract that, right? And so that this expression is like 2I by pi r square you will get. And now let us write this I1 value. Now current through the cavity 1. I1 is equal to what we can write? J into area of that. Area of that we can write as pi r square by 4, because the radius is r by 2. Diameter is r, so radius is r by 2. And now J means you can substitute that value and you can simplify that. So that this value will get like you can substitute that value, then and next similarly I2 value you can write that as J into pi r square by 4. So then this is also I by 2, right? So that will be that I1 and I2 values there, how much current that we can assume in that. And now let us see this, and now I am coming to this equation here. The magnetic field due to this original first we need to write here. And so first let us identify as all the fields are not in the same direction, so we need to take the components and we need to decide that values there, right? And so first I am identifying the directions here. The magnetic field due to this original sphere without any cavity, for this current is flowing out of the plane. So then this will be current is flowing out of the plane, so the magnetic field lines will be around this like this. So here the tangent, our point P1 is this side here, so there the tangent will be out of the, that means the upward direction you will get here. So the magnetic field at this point will be upwards due to this original. So due to this original, that will be in upward direction. And next, due to this cavity, let us consider here I1, for example, I am taking here. So for this we are taking that current is flowing in the same direction because we are already subtracting that. So we need to assume that current is flowing in the same direction for this. So if current is flowing in the same direction, then there this magnetic field will be there like this. And so that means here this radius for this will be this one. So perpendicular to this direction you will get here. So circle will be there like this for this. And so perpendicular to this direction. So that I can write this as that magnetic field I can represent here as like this. This is B1 I am taking. B1 means magnetic field due to this cavity, right? So that is our B1 value. And next similarly identify this magnetic field due to this I2. Magnetic field due to this I2 is, so again same, current is flowing out of the plane here, so that here also the tangent will be there in upward direction in the sense perpendicular to this. This will be the radius. So around this we need to consider a center like this. So with this radius as this distance. And so that means for that also then circle is coming out like this. So here the tangent will be upward direction, you will get perpendicular to this. So that component we can represent like this, B2, right? And so now here you may assume these angles here. Suppose if I am taking this angle as theta for example. So this angle will be theta, and so that I can take this angle will be theta and this angle is theta, right? And so now we need to find directly the resultant value I am taking here, the resultant component at that point, because if you are resolving this into component, clearly we can say that B1 and B2 are equal in magnitude, right? So equal in magnitude means then B1 sin theta and B1 sin theta along this direction, B2 sin theta along this direction, they will be cancelled with each other. So if you resolve this, B1 sin theta along this direction you will get, and B2 sin theta along this direction you will get. And you can observe that the distance of this point from the C1 or from the C2 is same, which indicates that B1 and B2 and these currents are also same, I1 and I2 values are also same. So from that what we can conclude here is B1 and B2 are equal in magnitude. They are equal in magnitude. So when they are equal in magnitude, then these two components will be cancelled, and so net field will be along this direction here, in the direction, original direction there. So that means here B1 and B2 are equal. Therefore, so I am writing this net field here. BP1 is equal to magnetic field due to this original minus B1 cos theta minus B2 cos theta we need to write. These instead of this. Instead of those two, we need to write B1 cos theta minus B2 cos theta. That means if originally instead of this cavity, if this cavity is not there, so this part of the current will produce a magnetic field along this direction, so that its a component will be added to this original if it is present. But as this cavity, this part of the solid conductor is not there, so that's corresponding component we are subtracting that B1 cos theta. Is it clear? Similarly for this here, for this also if this is present, then its contribution to this magnetic field at P1 will be B2 cos theta along this direction. Its contribution. But that part is not there here. We already removed this. That is a cavity. So that its contribution we are subtracting from the original magnetic field to this original conductor there. Is it clear? So now you can substitute these values here. So BP1 is equal to magnetic field due to this original means we can write this as mu naught I by this is for original also you need to calculate here. I will write here because this I is the current, what we are taking is current passing through this conductor, remaining conductor. So current through the solid. Current through solid in the sense original. Original conductor, this I naught is equal to, I am taking that as I naught. That I naught is equal to J into pi r square. Right? If originally total current is flowing to the total solid conductor, original conductor. and so then its value you can write this as 2i. You can substitute this j value as 2i by pi r square, then pi r square will be cancelled, so that you will get that value as 2i. So let us substitute. First I am writing this as I naught, later you can substitute that. Is it clear? I is the current flowing through the conductor with the cavities. But there the first term is magnetic field due to this original conductor. Original conductor means without any cavities. So then without any cavities, then current flowing through that will be I naught. And so then magnetic field due to this original conductor, what we can write here is, this is mu naught I by 2 pi r we need to write. So the 2 pi into small r. It's the distance of this P1 from this center, which is given as r, minus B1. Now for this B1, this distance we need to write here. Let's suppose this distance is R1 and this is R2. And you can find that R1 and R2 distances are equal in magnitude, and that R1 and R2 values we can write this as R1 is equal to R2 is equal to under root of R square plus R square by 4. This is R, capital R, and this is R by 2. And so that is our value here. Therefore, this R1 is equal to R2 is equal to root 5 by 2R. Is it clear? So this is our R1 and R2 values here. R1 and R2 means this is the R1 and R2, distance of this point from the center, and P1 and distance of the P2 from the center. And so that now its value we can substitute it as mu naught I1 by 2 pi R1 into cos theta value also you can substitute here. That cos theta value now you can write again by using this equation here. So that cos theta value is nothing but what we can write is R by R1, and into 2 we can write, because these two are equal. B1 cos theta, B1 and B2 are mentioned, we already mentioned that they are equal, and so then B1 instead of that B2 you can write as B1, so B1 cos theta we can write, and so that you can directly multiplying with the 2. Now we can substitute these R values and I values, and you can do this simplification here. So mu naught I1 is, I naught is nothing but 2i by this 2 pi r, r is nothing but small r only they mentioned there, minus mu naught I1, that I1 is I by 2 into r by 2 pi r1 square. So that r1 square means you can substitute this value here. So 5 by 4 r square into 2, and then simplify that, then you will get this magnetic field at that point P and P1. And for P2 this much of calculation is not required here. So for P2 that is P2 is along the line joining the centers of all the cavities and original cylinder hole. If the point is like this, then problem will be easy for us, because whether conductor or the cavity will produce a magnetic field in the same direction. Like suppose if you are taking this current is flowing out here, this solid original cylinder will produce a magnetic field along this direction. Even this cavity also produce a magnetic field along this direction, and this also produce a magnetic field along the same direction. Right? So I hope you can solve that for the point P2. You need to simplify this one, simplify for this P1, further do the simplification, and find the magnetic field at that P2 also. P2 calculation is much easier when compared to this. The only thing is B1 and B2 are not equal, because distance of the center of this cavity from P2 and center of the cavity C2 from P2 will be different. The distance are different, and so magnetic field will also be different there, right? So B1, B2 are not equal, so separately 3 terms you need to write there, right? So simplify that problem. So in the previous class actually we discussed the magnetic field inside only, inside the cavity or some internal points. Now this is a magnetic field for an external point here. So this defining J and writing this I1, I2 is also important here. So while defining that J, you need to read that information clearly, whether this current I is flowing through the remaining conductor, or current I is a current flowing through the given I is a current flowing through the original conductor before making that cavity. So that information is important there, so that accordingly that J definition will changes, the J value will changes, current density value will changes, and then correspondingly those I1, I2, I3 values also changes there. And so now let us assume the superposing cylinders here. So like superposing cylinders. We assume like two cylinders are superposing on each other, and so we need to calculate the magnetic field in that superposing area. So that means these are the two identical cylinders here. So these two identical cylinders are superposing on each other. So we need to find this magnetic field in this superposing area. Is it clear? So that means this is also assumption here. We are assuming like this, two cylinders are superposing, and these cylinders are having this current density equal and opposite current densities here. Suppose this is C1 and this is C2 here. So these two are having this current densities in opposite direction. Like suppose J is a current density out of the plane here, then J will be there into the plane. Into the plane. And these two are separated by a distance of C. That C1 and C2 are separated by a distance of C, we are assuming here, right? So just mention that these are the long cylinders and the cross section view is shown here. Say write that. Assume two cylinders, two identical long cylinders are superposing on each other, as shown in figure. C is the distance between the axis of the cylinders. Current density in both the cylinders is same but in opposite direction. Current density in both the cylinders is equal in magnitude but in opposite in direction. Then magnetic field at any point in the superposing area of the cylinders, superposing regions can be calculated as follows. Right? That means this is the superposing area here. So in this area now we are going to calculate this magnetic field here. So in that area, can you say what is the net current in that region? So it will be 0, right? Because this cylinder is having the current density J out of the plane, and this cylinder is having the current density J into the plane. So that the net current in that region will become 0. So that is nothing but the approach for the cavities, first approach what we followed in the previous class. So we assume like a conductor, original conductor, and instead of cavity we take the current density in opposite direction, so that when you combine them, the net current in that region will become 0. And so now this is like similar to that of cavity only here. So let's suppose this is R1 we may consider here, and that means we are taking a point P inside this cavity. Any point, general point we are taking inside this cavity here at a distance of R1, and from C1 at a distance of R2 from this C2 here. And so now let us write the magnetic field due to this C1 and C2s, right? So then for this we need to apply this magnetic field inside the cavity, inside this solid conductor. This point P belongs to the inside of the first cylinder, and it also belongs to the inside of the second cylinder, right? So for both of them it will be internal point only. So internal point formula in terms of the current density we need to write. So in terms of current density means mu naught by 2 into J bar cross R bar. So that is the formula which we are going to write here. For internal points, if you are writing like that, you can solve the problems easily. So that net magnetic field at that point, what we can write here is magnetic field due to this first one plus magnetic field due to the second one here. Now this is a vector addition we are writing here. And so now this B1 value what we can write is mu naught by 2 into like J bar cross R1 bar you can write. So if you are writing like this, then automatically you will get that value in vector form only, right? Plus this value, what we can write is mu naught by 2 into j bar cross minus j bar cross R2 bar. So this is the important here. Minus j bar we are taking because why we are taking negative sign for the second term? Current densities are opposite. So in the first term we are taking it as j bar, means then this direction out of the plane we are taking as positive for this current. Then in this current is flowing into the plane, so that current density we need to take it as negative. So that is important there. So then here what we can write here is mu naught by 2 into j bar I am taking common here. So j bar cross you can write like R1 bar minus R2 bar, right? And so that is our similar term in cavity derivation there. And so now R1 bar minus R2 bar means you can again solve by using this triangle here. So from triangle C1, C2, P. So if you are taking this triangle here, so then I can write this as R1 bar is equal to C1, C2 bar plus R2 bar. So C1, C2 bar means then this direction we are taking this as a vector here, C1, C2 bar, right? And so that term we can write this as R1 bar minus R2 bar is equal to C1, C2 bar, which I can represent it as some C bar, where C is the distance between them, right? So let us substitute that. Therefore this net magnetic field is mu naught by 2 into, so j bar cross C1, C2 bar, or we can write this as mu naught by 2 into j bar cross C bar. So that means in this superposing area also now you can observe that we are getting like j bar cross C bar. J bar cross C bar means then it will be independent of distance from the C1 or C2 here. That means it does not depend on this R1 and R2 values here. So from this also you can conclude that inside this superposing region it is similar to that of a cavity. So that it doesn't possess, that means at any point the magnetic field will be same in magnitude and direction there. So which is nothing but it only depends on the C1, the C1, C2 distance, which is nothing but we are taking it as C. So that means its magnitude, if you want to write here, the magnitude of this, the net magnetic field is mu naught by 2 into J into C you can write. So that means J is the current density and C is that distance between those two centers there. So just mention that sentence there. Therefore magnetic field inside the superposing area of the cylinders, is uniform and it does not depends on is uniform and does not depends on distance of the point from C1 or C2. C1 and C2 means their centers of those cylinders or axes of those cylinders. But it only depends on distance between the axes of the two cylinders. And if you want to actually represent the direction of this magnetic field, you can identify just by using this J bar cross C bar. So J bar cross C bar means then J bar we are taking this out of the plane here, right? So the J bar we are taking out of the plane like this. So that we are taking as a positive J bar. So this we need to consider here. J bar is like this. And now this C bar is along this direction here from C1 to C2. So J bar is out of the plane and C1, C2 is along this direction. So you will get this upwards like this. And so that means if you want to represent this magnetic field direction, you can represent this magnetic field in this region will be along this direction here. The magnetic field in that net magnetic field in the superposing area. So you represent the direction also. Sometimes they will ask that. Simply you can write it as perpendicular to both C and J bar. And so then in this case it will be along this direction. In this case, in the sense we are taking this J value as J value as along this out of the plane we are taking. So that direction we are taking as positive. So then according to that, in this case, then we are getting this magnetic field as an upward direction there, right? So that is magnetic field in this superposing areas here. Next, based on this concept, let us see one more problem here. Based on this cavity calculations or magnetic field inside calculations. So that means now here there is some coaxial cable is there here. So this is I am taking, this is a radius A, solid cylindrical cable, and it is surrounded by another cylindrical shell like this. So this is cylindrical shell here. So its inner radius is say B and outer radius is C. Is it clear? This radius is A and this is A. This radius is A. So now suppose I am taking this current density in this is say out of the plane here. Then it carries an equal amount of current here into the plane. So that means this will be gap is there in between them. So that means this is one solid cylinder and it is surrounded by this cylindrical shell here, right? So that means our actual arrangement I can represent like this. This is a cylinder here and the surrounding this another cavity is another cylindrical shell is there. Cylindrical shell means only this material is there in this region here. So that means this will be empty space here, vacuum or empty space is there in between them. So write that. The figure shows the cross section view of coaxial cable system which contains a solid cylindrical conductor of radius a solid cylindrical conductor of radius A surrounded by a cylindrical shell of inner radius B and outer radius C. Inner radius B and outer radius C. The current I is flowing in the solid conductor and in cylindrical shell, in opposite directions. Then find magnetic field due to the system. Find magnetic field due to the system at the point P, which is at a distance r from the common axis. When r is less than B, that means A less than or less than B. This is the first condition here, and the second one is when B less than or less than C, and the third condition is when R greater than C, right? So that means for those three regions we need to calculate the magnetic field due to the system here. So that means first case if you consider like it is in between this A and B. So that means our point will be somewhere lying here. Our point P will be lying somewhere here. So, right? So this is our point P here. So now at that point we need to find this magnetic field. So simply to find the magnetic field due to this, we need to apply this. This is for A less than or less than B we are calculating here. So for that reason you can simply apply this Ampere's law here. So if you apply this Ampere's law, you can consider an Amperian loop like this, right? So this is our an Amperian loop. And so now let us write this Ampere's law here. So by Ampere's law, or directly also we can apply here, because cylindrical conductor inside and outside. So mu naught into I. So then this value we can write as B into dl into cos 0, which is equal to mu naught into I. Because that net current is, this is nothing but actually current enclosed here. The current enclosed is nothing but only this current here, right? Only this current is enclosing here, only I. And so that then we can write like this. And so now this equation is B into 2 pi r is equal to, we can write this as mu naught into I. And therefore this magnetic field at that point will be equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r you will get. So which you can write directly also. So that means if you want to write it directly, simply what we can write is, we know already the magnetic field inside the pipe is 0. If current is flowing through a hollow cylindrical shell or hollow cylindrical pipe, then the magnetic field at any point inside the pipe will be 0, right? So that means with that concept you can directly say that the magnetic field due to this cylindrical shell will be 0 for this point here, because that point P lies inside that. At point P the only magnetic field is produced by the solid conductor here. So that's an infinite solid conductor, so you can write that magnetic field as mu naught I by 2 pi r you can write here. So that means directly also you can write this equation here. And then next, let us come to the next case here. So for B less than or less than C. So now we are taking a point here like this, in between these two. So now I am taking this, I will rub this and I will take this another point here. So now our point P is here. So that means our point P is lying here. That means that the radius R is now like this. So then this is the distance R here. Now this is the point P. So at that point we need to calculate. Now if we observe this clearly here, what we can write is, now I in calculation we need to do it carefully here, because there will be some contribution from this I due to this conductor, and here also some current will be there. So this current is out of the plane, and this current I am taking as some I dash here. The current only in between these two, in between B and R. That region current flowing is, I am taking it as I dash. So that first I am doing that calculation here, that I dash calculation first I am doing here. So to find current flowing in the region B and R, flowing in between B and R. So for this case, that means this region. So that current what I can write there is, so now for this, this current I dash is equal to J into pi of this area we need to write here. That area I can write this as pi into R square minus B square we can write. So this, especially this calculation only important in this problem here. So sometimes directly they will ask this question directly. So that means now this is our J into that area we are writing. And next that J value need to write here. So J value means current density for this cylindrical shell. So current density for that cylindrical shell is I by pi into C square minus B square. So this current is distributed in between B and C. So that area we are writing. That gives the J value, J into Now this area is pi into r square minus b square. So you can cancel that pi value, and therefore that I dash value we can write it as so I into r square minus b square by c square minus b square you can write. So that is our I dash value. But our net current enclosed by the ampere and loop is, now this net current enclosed by the ampere and loop I in is equal to I minus I dash we need to write. So why we are taking I minus I dash? Because both the currents are in opposite direction. This current is into the plane here, so this I dash is into the plane, and this current is out of the plane here. And so that as both are opposite direction, so that we need to take that subtraction while finding this net current. So therefore this current what we can write here is In is equal to, you can substitute that expression, or later finally let us substitute there, right? So while substituting in Ampere's law we will substitute that. So now by Ampere's law, so by Ampere's law what we can write here is integral of B bar dot dl bar is equal to mu naught into I in, this net current we need to write. So this calculation is same only, BDL cos 0 integral of, and this is mu naught into, now this I in is nothing but I minus I dash. So this side you can write as B into 2 pi r is equal to mu naught into I minus, now substitute this value I of r square minus b square by this c square minus b square. Just I am substituting this I dash value by using this equation. And so now you can take LCM and you can simplify this. So this equation I can write this as B is equal to mu naught by mu naught I also you can take common, mu naught I by 2 pi r into, now do the simplification of this. If you are taking I common here, then c square minus b square minus r square minus of minus plus b square you will get. So the b square term will be cancelled. So that what we can write here is c square minus r square by c square minus b square you will get. So this will be the magnetic field at that point there, right? So this expression is important. So sometimes directly they will ask this question. So magnetic field at that region. So then that is a magnetic field for that point there. And our next question is for this point here, for the external point. So next I am taking this for r greater than c. So for this region, if you consider, can you say that the magnetic field for that region, you need to consider like magnetic field for that region means it is completely out of the plane, we need to consider outside this coaxial cable system we need to consider here. That means our point P is now let us take here. So then this is our ampere loop we need to consider like this. So directly for this point let us calculate I in value, then you will get the clarity about that. So that means for point P r greater than c, the I in value what we can write is I minus I 0, right? Or you can say that magnetic field due to this solid cylinder and magnetic field due to this cylindrical shell for external point, they are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. Directly you can say that because they are carrying current in opposite directions here, and we know this magnetic field for an external point outside the pipe or outside the solid conductor does not depend on the current distribution. Even though current is variable, it does not depend on the current distribution. So if outside the long cylindrical shell or due to the solid cylinder, magnetic field outside the cylinder means mu naught I by 2 pi r only. That cylinder may be a hollow cylinder or that may be a solid cylinder. Even in the solid cylinder, the current may be a variable current distribution may be there. If total current is I, whatever the current distribution across the cross section, if total current is I, then magnetic field for an external point you can write as mu naught I by 2 pi r, right? And so then like that you can say that easily here. So here I in is 0. So from that what we can write is magnetic field. So B bar dot dl bar is equal to mu naught into 0. So from this you can also conclude that the magnetic field for this point will be 0. So that is for external points, or like this also. Now I can say that magnetic field due to this will be, say, out of the plane you will get, and magnetic field due to this cylindrical shell will be into the downwards you will get here. Upwards and downwards they will cancel with each other. So like that you can calculate the magnetic field due to this conductor here, coaxial cable system, right? And next in this, the magnetic field due to this infinite plane of conductors will be there. Like until now we are discussing about magnetic field due to this cylindrical conductors only, right? But sometimes current may flow through the infinite planes. If you are taking a thick metal plate, then magnetic field, that means current may flow through the thick metal plate. So now let us see the type of derivations now. So this is magnetic field due to large conducting plane. Right? So large conducting plane means we consider like this. So it means this is our plane here. So this is the plane what we are taking here. This is our plane, you may consider like this. So right. So current is now flowing along this direction here. So some total I is a current flowing along this direction. So that generally this width is we take it as some finite here. This width of the plane, and this length will tends to infinite here. So there is a long plane in the sense. And sometimes here we need to consider this width of this plane also, that means this thickness of this plane also. The thickness, let us take some this dimension as d here. So the dimension I am taking it as some d, right? So then in that we need to calculate this magnetic field here. So write that. Consider current I is flowing through a long conducting plane having thickness d and width b as shown. And so now first let us see the magnetic field inside the conducting plane. Let us calculate here. Magnetic field inside the plane. So inside the plane means now I am taking this cross section view of this plane here. Suppose you may consider this plane like this. So right. So this is the plane you may consider here. Here this current is flowing into the plane like this. So this is the plane what we are representing. The cross section view I am drawing here. So this is a cross section view of this plane here. So this thickness is nothing but what we are taking is d. This thickness we are taking it as d, right? And so now to find this magnetic field, that means this cross section just I am showing here. This cross section just I am showing there. I am drawing there. And so now the magnetic field due to this point for an internal point means now let us take a point P here. So we need to find the magnetic field at this point here. So for that you may consider our ampere loop passing through that point here. Now I am taking this ampere loop like this. So this is the ampere loop what I am taking here. So right, so I am taking this ampere loop like A, B, C, D. This is the ampere loop what we are taking. So previously across that cylindrical conductor we are taking that ampere loop in the form of this in the form of like a cylinder circle we are assuming the ampere loop means for the cylindrical conductors. Here for the plane conductors this ampere loop means generally we assume like this. The ampere loop we can assume like this. And so now here based on this what we can write here is we need to calculate our B bar dot DL bar for this ampere loop here, right? And so you may decide the direction of this magnetic field for these points here. So that means for the point AB at any point here the magnetic field will be along this direction. As the current is flowing along this direction, you may take a small element here. The magnetic field due to this will be along this direction here, right? So the magnetic field due to this even for every element you may assume like this, and the magnetic field direction will be net magnetic field direction will be parallel to AB you will get. Because here if you are taking this element here just below this point, if you are taking this one small element of this conductor, small element of the conductor means then you will get like this. What I am saying, small element of this conductor means then you will get a like wire you will get, long wire you can consider there. Then long wire in the sense that magnetic field direction you can apply like this. Current is flowing into the plane here. So the magnetic field will be along this direction. Now next if you are taking a small element like this here. So this element here, another element, the magnetic field at this point will be now along this direction. Then magnetic field due to this another element you may consider here, another element here. The magnetic field due to this will be along this direction you will get, because there also current is flowing into the plane, then field lines will be there like this. So this is one magnetic field dB, and this is another magnetic field element here dB, and this is another element dB here. So the net field, if you resolve this into components and if you find this, the net magnetic field will be along the direction only you will get, right? So that the net magnetic field for this point will be along this direction AB. So this is the direction of this field in this region. Similarly, if you come down here, the magnetic field will be along this direction here. The magnetic field for a point below this, if this is the element, and for a point below this, then you will get the opposite direction here. Net magnetic field will be along this direction you will get. So like that you can decide the direction of this magnetic field here. So that means it will be perpendicular to the current direction and perpendicular to this cross section of this that means this width here, perpendicular to this width you can write. Now let us apply this Ampere's law for this path or for this loop what we considered there. So now by Ampere's law, integral of B bar dot DL bar is equal to mu naught into I net. Right? And so now for this part we need to split that integration here. Splitting that integration means then I can write this as integral of B bar dot DL bar from A to B. So stepwise from A to B we are taking first, plus integral of B bar dot DL bar from B to C next for this step, plus integral of B bar dot DL bar from C to D, plus integral of B bar dot DL bar from D to A. This is equal to mu naught into net current we need to write here. That net current I can write this as, if suppose I am taking this width as from the central plane here, this is the central plane I am assuming here. From the central plane this point P is say the distance of x from this. Is it clear what I assumed? From the central plane of this plane, thick plane, then our point is at a distance of x from this. And so now this current I can write this as J into, where J is a current density, into 2x into, you may consider this distance as some any variable you may consider here. So that suppose I am taking this as some y, this length, or let us take this as some L here. So this length AB or CD length I am taking it as L. So 2x into L. Is it clear how we are writing this net current here? Current density into area of this ABCD loop we are writing. So AB length we are assuming it as L. We are assuming that will be finally it may be there or may not be there. So we are taking that as some L, and this length we are taking it as some X. So that this total AD or BC length will be 2x you will get. And so now let us write here the integral of B bar dot DL bar from A to B. From A to B means then it will be along this length of the conductor you will get here. That means in the direction of the magnetic field you will get, and that magnetic field will be constant throughout that length there. So we can write this as B into L cos 0. And next from C to B. So C to B we are saying the magnetic field is like this and we are length is along this direction. So the magnetic field direction and length are perpendicular to each other, and so that this term will be 0. And next from C to D. So C to D again the magnetic field is along this direction and we are coming in the same direction. DL bar is along the same direction, and so that then integral of that means B into L cos 0 you can write here, plus previously simply for the circular we are writing that DL bar means integral of DL means we are writing it as 2 pi r. Now here this length directly we are writing here because it is straight line path length, so that circumference we are writing there, plus again for D to A the magnetic field is along this direction and DL bar path is along the direction, so B DL cos 90 you will get, so the term will be 0. So this is equal to mu naught into J into 2x into L, and therefore this magnetic field now you can write this as this side you will get 2BL. So 2BL is equal to mu naught into J into 2x into L you will get. So that 2L you can cancel there. So this will be mu naught into J into X you will get. So where J is a current density and X is the distance from the central plane of this thick plane, infinite thick plane there, right? So just to mention that formula there, and there mention that finally there where X is distance of the point from the central plane, from the central plane of the thick plane or central plane of the thick conducting plane. And sometimes they will mention like in terms of the current per unit length also they will mention there. Current per unit length if they mentioned, then this J expression how we can write. Suppose here these dimensions were given like this. Then this J value what we can write is J is equal to I by B into D you can write, that current density. So then instead of that J we need to substitute that expression there. So inside this now we can observe this. So the magnetic field is directly proportional to this X here. So the magnetic field at the central region of this this thick plane will be 0, right? So then for the if you are moving from the central plane to this top, then this magnetic field goes on increasing. So that is a variation of this magnetic field here. So that is when you are taking this inside, the magnetic field inside this conducting plane. This is magnetic field inside the conducting plane. And so now here if you are taking this magnetic field outside this conducting plane. So now let us see that magnetic field outside the conducting plane. This derivation will be a little bit easy when compared to this magnetic field field outside the conducting plane. So that means now here we consider this conducting plane like this. Just I am representing a small cross section, same plane. I am taking best we are taking this outside here. I am taking that as a small consideration here. So that means this is B, and this is the current flowing into the plane I am taking here. And so that means this same D width I am representing here. Is it clear? Just I am drawing the diagram as small. The same plane we are assuming there. The thickness just I am drawing the small because our concentration is for external points. So that means this is our point, say let us consider here. So at a distance of x from this is our point. And now here you can consider again this magnetic field at this direction there, the magnetic field direction first at that point. So as I said in the previous discussion while deciding that, you can simply remember it as the magnetic field will be perpendicular to this plane here. The magnetic field, here the plane will be, plane sheet will be there like this. We are assuming that plane sheet as like this. So this plane is extending to this out of the plane like this, infinite. It tends to infinite. Now the current is flowing like this. The magnetic field will be perpendicular to the length of the plane, and it is also perpendicular to the direction of this current. Current is entering here. So the magnetic field will be perpendicular, or simply for that what I am saying is it will be parallel to the plane or parallel to the width of the plane. You can consider magnetic field direction, and simply you can apply this. Whether parallel to the width means either this direction or this direction means, for that still you can apply this right hand thumb rule. Current is into the plane, so the field lines we are getting like this, right? And so magnetic field at the top will be tangential, that means along this direction you will get here. So the magnetic field at this point will be along this direction. Is it clear? Or otherwise you may consider our similar previous discussion there. Our similar previous discussion means previously to decide this direction what we can consider there is so that means here you may consider a small element here. Here you may consider a small element. So first I will explain here this field direction here. So after that you can derive that. So this is our point here. So here current is into the plane, and here also current is into the plane. Everywhere this current is into the plane. So just here we are taking this one element here. So the magnetic field due to this element at this point P is, this is our point P here. At that point P is nothing but, now this small element means we can consider it as a straight conductor here. So now the magnetic field due to this means then magnetic field will be along this direction here. So that means perpendicular to this radius direction here, so which is along this direction. So this dB you will get along this direction. And similarly now let us write magnetic field due to this element here. The magnetic field due to this element is, here also current is flowing here, so the field lines you will get like this. So that means here the tangent will be perpendicular to this radius. This will be the radius here. And so the magnetic field will be along this direction you will get. So if you resolve this into components and then simplify that, so you will get this net magnetic field will be along the direction. That's what I am saying here. Net magnetic field will be along the direction. Similarly, if you are taking such a symmetrical point below this, then net magnetic field will be out of the, that means opposite to that you can write here. The net magnetic field will be, here it is towards right like this, parallel to the plane and parallel to the width of the plane, and this towards right if you get, then this will be parallel to the width of the plane, and then towards left you will get, opposite direction you will get, right? So that is the field direction there. You may mention that about the field direction. The magnetic field due to this infinite, that means large plane or infinite plane, is perpendicular to the length of the plane, and perpendicular to the current direction, and parallel to the width of the plane. Width means this dimension. This I am naming as thickness, and this is the width here. Parallel to the width of the plane. That means if width is along this direction, that plane along this direction you will get, and it is perpendicular to the current direction. Current is flowing here, so it will be perpendicular to this current direction. And length of the plane also we define like this. So length and current in current direction both are same only, right? And so now here to find this magnetic field, again we consider an Amperian loop like this. So now I am taking an Amperian loop here like this. So just mention that now to find the magnetic field at point P due to this plane, Consider an Amperian loop. Consider an Amperian loop ABCD as shown in figure. So just find this Ampere's law here. So by Ampere's law, so what we can write is integral of B bar dot DL bar is equal to mu naught into I net or I in. So the same as that of our previous inside derivation here. So just we need to split here that integration. So integral of B bar dot DL bar from A to B plus integral of B bar dot DL bar from B to C plus integral of B bar dot DL bar from C to B plus integral of B bar dot DL bar from D to A is equal to mu naught into I in. And so now integral of B bar dot DL bar for A to B means again this B bar and we are traveling A to B in the same direction. So B bar and DL bar are in same direction. So I can write this as B into L into cos 0. And for this again B to C means the magnetic field will be along this direction and we are traveling in perpendicular direction. BC length is in perpendicular direction. So B into DL into cos 0 we need to write. Sorry, cos 90 we need to write so that its value is 0. And for that again this value will be same here. We know here the magnetic field is towards right means and here magnetic field will be towards left. We discussed it just now only. So then we are traveling C to D in the same direction of the magnetic field and so that this value will be 0 BL cos 0 plus again this value D to A it will be perpendicular to this magnetic field direction here. So that term will be 0 and this is equal to mu naught into In. So this In value again you can write this expression as, so this expression I can write this as so then let us write this expression, let us keep this In, I will explain it later. So now this value you can write this value as B into L is equal to mu naught into this. Now this I value, In value now we need to write here. So let us say this. Generally for this external points the magnetic field is expressed in terms of current per unit length. Current per unit length. So if I is the total current distributed in a length of this total width is B if I consider here this total width of the plane. So then I can write this expression as I by B into L. This is now current flowing in this inside this Amperian loop. Observe this carefully. I by B I am writing. I by B means current per unit length. Current per unit length of this or unit width, whatever it is, current per unit width of this plane. Now we are taking in this Amperian loop, it is enclosed width is L. So current per unit width is I by B into L. Is it clear? Into L. That gives a current enclosed here. Current enclosed here. And so that then this L value will be cancelled. So that I can write this as B is equal to mu naught by 2 into I by B. So I by B generally they will express it as a K. So if K is equal to I by B, current per unit width, therefore this magnetic field at this point due to this plane what we can write is mu naught K by 2 we can write. So generally we express the magnetic field like this, where this K is magnetic field per unit width. So that you need to remember there, magnetic field per unit width. That means this total I is a current flowing to this width of B, then K value is nothing but I by B you can write. So that is a magnetic field due to this unit width, right? So it is a magnetic field due to this plane derivations there. So we can represent the variation of this magnetic field graphically like this. So until from this inside the 0 if you consider, then this magnetic field goes on increasing here like this. until you reach this value as x is equal to d by 2. Then once if you reach the d by 2, then this field will become constant like this. This is a magnetic field variation and versus this x. X means previously we mentioned like magnetic field due to this at a distance x from the center, at the center of this plane. So this is we mentioned like mu naught into j into x, we mentioned this, right? So this expression is for this internal points, the expression is mu naught into j into x, the magnetic field variation. So it is a straight line passing through origin you will get. And outside, once if you cross this point D means we are outside. If you are crossing that x is equal to d by 2, if you are crossing that, then you will be outside. So once you will be outside, then magnetic field will be a constant value here. So the magnetic field here is mu naught k by 2, what we are writing here, where k is defined by I by B, current per unit bit. So that variation of magnetic field due to that thick plane, we can thick conducting plane, we can represent like this, right? So this is a magnetic field due to this infinite plane, and there will be some problems based on this, and I will explain those questions in our next class, right? Thank you.